the ultimate test of human endurance. And I'm delighted to say I'm joined now by Dee Caffari, who finished 6th in the 2009 Vendee Globe. Dee, great to speak to you. Some incredible pictures there, some dramatic footage. Having competed in the race, just give us a sense of what it is that draws sailors like you to the event.
It is totally all-encompassing. It's a commitment of years of hard work from not just you, but your family, your friends, your sponsors, your supporters, and your team. And they give blood, sweat and tears and a huge financial sacrifice. And then you cross that start line and it's down to you to deliver. But in the background, there's still the team there supporting you. So when you get to finally cross the finish line, because not everybody gets to do that, it's just a whole welling up of all these emotions and they all just come outflowing, and it's a real mixed reaction that everybody has.
80 days at sea on your own. What is that like when you're going through the lowest of lows?
Well, I think if we think of today's world, it's the ultimate in self-isolation. And we know how hard it is in the restrictions that we're all living in. That frustration, the kind of depths of despair when you miss out on meeting your friends or chatting. These guys and girls have missed birthdays, Christmases, New Year's, weddings, deaths, marriages. It all happens. Life continues and they haven't been part of that. So they feel quite isolated. But technology is amazing at the way it's advanced. And so they're in connection with people and they use WhatsApp quite a lot to communicate. So it's not as bad as it used to be. But what they will have missed is that face-to-face communication, seeing people's facial reactions and responses. So to be overwhelmed from living on a 60-foot boat in your own world for 80 days and then coming in across the finish line to see all these people and everybody wanting to talk to you, it's almost overwhelming at first.
When you're out there on the water, how much sleep are you getting? How long in one time? How long are you actually able to sleep for?
Sleep's always a really tricky thing, and it's very separate for each sailor. Everybody manages it slightly differently. But what you do is you have cat naps throughout the day. So in a 24-hour period, you're trying to accumulate about 4 to 5 hours sleep, and it could be 10 minutes or 20 minutes. And a long sleep is often an hour and a half. It just really depends on where you're located, what the weather's doing and how busy anything is around you. So if you're near shipping or fishing boats or other vessels, or if the wind's about to change and you need to do a sail change. So you have to time your sleep with when it's appropriate. But it's amazing how quickly your body can adapt. Between 7 and 10 days, and that seems the most normal thing ever. The hard thing for the sailors now when they cross the finish line is that coming back to normality where they're expected to sleep throughout the night.
And Dee, you talk about life and death decisions, and the latter is a very real possibility, isn't it? As we saw play out in the race this year with one stricken sailor having to be rescued by fellow competitors.
Yes, and it's a wonderful thing in our sport. There's that code of conduct where you would go to your fellow competitors' rescue if needed. But it could have played out a lot differently. And we're grateful that when you do something like the Vendee Globe, you're sailing with the best sailors in the world. So you're in good hands. But it's definitely not over until you cross that finish line, as we found out at the finish last night with Boris Herrmann, the German sailor, coming in just 90 miles from the finish and having a collision with a fishing boat. So you really have to keep your wits about you, and these decisions are huge responsibilities and they don't always go your way.
Well, Dee, it's been fascinating to get your insight, and thanks very much indeed for sharing that with us on the programme tonight.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.